Well, bot appeared, yeah. And we were able to knock it out. It was super effective. We were able to kind of deal with that too. So, alright, this format's going to be a little bit cleaner. We don't have to worry about Terapagos now. But we got Golurk, Incineroar, Whimsicott, Venusaur, Walking Wake, and Torkoal. So it definitely seems like the opponent is leaning heavily towards Sun, both with Torkoal and Walking Wake. I do like Ninetales actually offensively. And I don't want to lead it, but I think I can bring it in the back. Araquanid does okay against these teams. I think that the main thing I'll have to watch out for is, like... Yeah, it's mainly Venusaur, honestly. Raging Bolt doesn't really hit many of the Pokemon for good damage, in my opinion. Primarina also feels relatively weak, so I don't mind, like, an Incineroar Araquanid lead. If I can get Torkoal off the table pretty early, that can be helpful. And then from there, I can bring in Rillaboom and then the end game of Ninetales. Yeah, I'll go for that. Because we can also, like, fake out Venusaur and then go into Torkoal using, like, Liquidation, then the following turn, Protect, and use Parting Shot. And fake out, cycle fake outs and things like that from there. Incineroar also threatens Venusaur with good damage, too. So that can also be something we can play around with. Alright, so we are going to see the Torkoal Venusaur lead versus Incineroar and Araquanid. So I feel pretty confident in going for, oh, that's so interesting. Torkoal's not Drought. Yeah, that changes a lot, actually. I still am down to fake out Venusaur, and I'm going to Liquidation to Torkoal. You have some safe switches, but not anything that's super safe. Like, it would be Walking Wake at this moment, but that's interesting. I would have thought that Torkoal would have been Drought, especially with the team construct, but yeah, we'll see what happens here. I'm not too worried. Torkoal withdraws, sure. Walking Wake? Their own Incineroar, okay. This is going to do a lot of damage then. I get the attack drop, sure, but I actually do a considerable amount. Venusaur Terras, what would you Terra into? It would probably be... Ghost is the one that would get you away from Fake Out, but... Okay, sure. But that means Liquidation hits you harder. So I'm not too worried about this. You get one turn that you're able to... You would have to Sleep Powder... This turn, you would have to Sleep Powder Araquanid to really take an advantage. You get it. Okay. It does a lot of damage on Incineroar, sure. With Solar Beam? Alright, I'll take advantage of this. I'll just Parting Shot into Venusaur, and we're just going to switch out into Rillaboom. I was able to take out the take this Solar Beam. I mean, Araquanid could take it relatively well too, but this just makes it a little bit easier. But yeah, Parting Shot into Venusaur, and then the following turn I can... Yeah, High Horsepower into... I can High Horsepower into Incineroar. I can bring back Araquanid and target down Venusaur. And yeah, Venusaur goes for Solar Beam, but I don't care at this point. I take that comfortably. And then Incineroar Parting Shots into me, which is fine. I'm going to Parting Shot right back, right? So. And that's actually helpful to see that they have the faster Incineroar. I like the idea of Ghost Terra on Venusaur. They have the wrong ability on Torkoal, unfortunately, though. Torkoal comes back out, which is fine. I'll just fake out into Torkoal again. And then we get a Parting Shot into Venusaur. Okay. So I think in this case, I could send an Araquanid. I could also use Ninetales to set up Aurora Veil. Yeah, I don't mind doing that. I think the main thing that I want to be mindful of is making sure that Ninetales is sticking around well after, just so it can... so Rillaboom gets some HP recovery. But yeah, I want to make sure that I have Ninetales ready to go against... Walking Wake. So 9/10 lets us Aurora Veil. Venusaur technically could learn Weather Ball, so we might, yeah, so we're going to see the Weather Ball and go into Rillaboom, but at this point, Rillaboom is going to take that like a champ. Yeah, I don't care. And then Torkoal flinches. Okay, Now the question, because Rillaboom, okay, so I could use Moonblast into Venusaur, Rillaboom's Rock Terra, right, okay. So I'm definitely down to Moonblast into, I do need to watch out for the Fire type moves aren't going to be that strong, right? So Moonblast into Venusaur feels pretty safe, and then I could, yeah, bring in an Incineroar. Yeah, thanks to Assault Vest, I barely take any damage, and the low on special attack was also super helpful. So, yeah, I wouldn't mind getting Venusaur off the board, and that coming up will be really helpful. So, Venusaur's going to lower its attack, whatever. We get a fire off a Moonblast. Alright, so it does a decent amount, but not that strong. We are going to eat this Sludge Bomb, thanks to the Assault Vest, looking pretty solid. Eruption actually is going to hit hard. Okay, so I did not play that as well as I should have. Okay. Against Wake, Rillaboom still looks really good. I just need to make sure I position myself for it. But having Aurora Veil up is going to be helpful. Alright, with that, I do feel confident firing off a Liquidation into the Torkoal slot. I should try to knock out Venusaur, honestly. I can still fake out. Yeah, I'll do that. I'll get the KO on Torkoal later. Yeah, the Sludge Bomb is barely doing anything. We get a fire off this really strong Liquidation. Venusaur's off the board. Venusaur would have been really annoying for Rillaboom to go up against, so I'm glad they just deal with it. And then Torkoal flinches. Okay. Incineroar comes back out, sure. I think in this case I'm down to Protect with Arachnid, and I don't mind Flare Blitzing into the own Incineroar. It's not going to do much damage, but I could also use Wide Guard, but I don't think Eruption at this point is going to do that much, yeah. And I don't feel like switching to Rillaboom either. Yeah. And here comes Eruption, yeah. That was the main reason. I just didn't want to take too much damage from the Eruption itself. That was a crit. That was the fun. Snow's over, but I still have Aurora Veil up. And then we're going to get the speed order. So their Incineroar is faster than mine. And Grassy Train also expires too. Alright, I think in this case I do feel confident with Liquidation into Torkoal. And I don't mind now Parting Shot with Incineroar. Okay, yeah, that tickled. Yeah, I guess my main fear here is that, sure, I'm bringing in Rillaboom, and I do get to resist the... Not resist, but I do... Well, actually, I should be... If I hit with the Liquidation first, and Eruption is tickles, right? So I'm totally fine with this. Even at -1, this should hurt. Yeah, that does a lot. We are going to get Heat Wave, though, which isn't great. So, great awareness from the opponent. Crit on Arachnid. Come on, stop with these crits now. But Rillaboom is able to recover some HP here. Alright, so it does seem like Torkoal isn't choiced, which is helpful to note. So I'm down to Liquidation. And I'm down to high horsepower into Incineroar. Expecting Incineroar wanting to switch out. Torkoal protects, sure. So that's a knockout on Incineroar. Yeah, it's figuring out what that final Pokemon is, which is going to be tough. Liquidation goes off. I'm able to, I run into Protect with that. But yeah, the one Pokemon I am a little bit worried about is Walking Wake, because my endgame against Walking Wake doesn't look that great. Oh, it's just Golurk. Okay, in that case, I do feel confident with both Arachnid and Rillaboom ending this. They have used their Terra Venusaur, so Liquidation into Torkoal is pretty free, and I'm actually down to switch out Rillaboom for Incineroar. I don't need Fake Out anymore, and Wood Hammer is going to be enough to power through, and this will make it a little bit easier to deal with Golurk as well. So, White Smoke activates again for the billionth time, but we get a lower Golurk's attack, which is helpful. Golurk uses Rock Slide, so that actually is a pretty strong attack, but thanks to Aurora Veil, but the flinch, no, that was literally the worst that could have happened. Okay. Not over yet, but now we gotta play a little bit carefully. It looks like Golurk has one way he can come back from this, which is infinite Rock Slide flinches. I think in this case, I do feel confident with, I'll get a Terra later. I'll Wild Guard for now. That's a weird way to play this, but I think I'll Protect for now. How many turns of Grassy Terrain do I have left? 2 turns of Grassy Terrain. Okay. I'll Water Terror, I'll Liquidation into Golurk, and I will Fake Out into Torkoal. This means I won't take now I resist the Rock type move. Oh man, this was definitely a tough one. I'm glad that Walking Wake didn't make an appearance. I feel like I definitely would have lost a lot of momentum. Torkoal Protects, which is a good move there. I'll Fake Out, but it'll fail, which is fine. Golurk goes to Rock Slide. I'll resist. Alright, I won't resist. But I do get the Liquidation off into Golurk. Okay, cool. So I can't be infinitely flinched to death. Alright, a critical hit on top of that. I think that was overkill with how big of a boost that was. But yeah, we'll be able to win this for now. Torkoal got a lot of HP back. Aurora Veil's over, which definitely was helpful. But yeah, this game now we're just Helping Hand until Liquidation's game over. Yeah, Fortnite cancels. Woo! That was a tough one for sure. Definitely areas to improve on how I could have played that one better for sure. I'll rewatch it, but I think the thing that bailed me out was definitely the last Pokemon's Golurk. I was back in my head, Walking Wake. Oh my gosh, Walking Wake is going to be scary.